Hello and welcome to this week's vlog. So you might remember our video back in the summer when we looked at all the butterflies and insects in this little strip of meadowland that's set aside, that's been left by the farmers. All there is really now is dead grass, things like thistles all getting ready to grow back up, and lots of knapweeds or hardheads just gone to seed, where there was once lots and lots of colour and all those burnet moths and all kinds of butterflies. When you're young, the change of the season seems to take forever. Christmas takes for ages to come around. The summer holidays seem to take ages to come around. They seem to be really long. Certainly one thing about getting older, if you're really busy and you're enjoying what you're doing, time flies by so really fast. And I used to really not like winter coming because of the short days and the gloomy weather, although I loved my pike fishing when I was younger, so that was a winter pastime, as was falconry. But for sure, I just sort of take these things in my stride now. Winter's coming. I don't like the long nights and the dark and the short days, but I know in a blink of an eye it's actually going to be spring. The days are drawing out now already. It's a sudden mild day today after a little bit of a cold snap. Another couple of months and spring, I'm sure, will be well underway. So for now, COVID can do one. We're out walking the dogs before we get on with stuff we have to do in the course of businesses and daily lives, really. Oh, my wrist. Catch up with us soon and let's see what happens in the rest of the vlog. Good girl, good girl. Have a look at the pond now. So last time we showed you on the vlogs, it was frozen solid, it got really cold, and now I've had a couple of days of just incessant rain. Everywhere's flooded again around Northamptonshire. The rivers have all topped out and burst their banks. It's rained at least 48 hours now non-stop, and of course with that the temperature's got mild, and again it's warm enough for amphibians to be moving about, but they have forecast a real cold snap coming. The media have sort of told us it's the beast from the east again, and it's going to be absolutely freezing, and we're going to have snow and all that kind of thing. Hopefully that's just hype, because although these wet mild winters aren't ideal, when you've got work to do, snow in England, it just causes the whole country to come to a standstill. We can't do it anymore, so we don't want that to be going on. But for sure, in that pond now, there'll be things alive, things not alive, but things moving around, and I can't wait for the spring and to really see the plants growing and see what's going on in the ponds, and just that feeling you get in the spring with those first really nice warm days. But for now, let's go and find out what else we can get up to. So Emily's just, if you like, retraining Casper, or putting Casper back through her retraining schedule. Casper's been a boy for about 19 years, but last year he laid eggs, so he's actually a girl. And just simple backwards and forwards. She's on a clearance line still. A couple of days of this, she's back onto her sort of top end of her flying weight, flying at 12.5 ounces, which is a nice size for a barn owl. But at 19, 20 years old now, at the end of the day, this bird knows what it's doing. And although she's had a few months off resting, having a chill out off-site from the public, it doesn't take long for this owl of all this many years to get its head back into gear. So we don't need to do any long distance, it's just repetition and routine just to test this owl out, and pretty soon Casper will be doing big circuits of the flying field. And annoyingly for us, but great for her, hunting down every vole and shrew she can find here. She's a really good hunter. Has no problem finding her own food for sure. So just the basic baby steps just to get her head back into gear, which it obviously is.
Not good weather for Emily or a barn owl. Thick, damp, drizzly, foggy weather is pretty much the worst thing barn owls could stand. They've evolved really as a dry savanna kind of species. Their wings and plumage is certainly not suited to the rain. And again, remember, if you're buying things like these as pets, or we would never call these pets, but people do buy them as a kind of strange pet. This one's nearly 20 and we expect her to live at least another 5 years. It's a lot of commitment. So now Casper's out on the flying team, Lily will get a few months rest, and again, the other side of Easter, we'll probably swap them round. So they have a few months on and a few months off, which is quite nice for them because they work very, very hard here at Icarus Full Creek on a daily basis, which is lucky for them, but also it's always nice for them to have a rest. We'll leave them to it and catch up with Casper again in a couple of weeks.
Here's something quite interesting. For most people that aren't country people, if they they know about when rabbits die off the myxomatosis, which came along in the 50s and decimated the rabbits, and over the course of time since then, myxomatosis, it usually eradicates a few of the rabbits in a population, but as a population on the whole, most of the time now, myxomatosis has very little impact on the rabbit population. Most people know about myxomatosis. But we've got another rabbit disease that arrived here in around the 90s, and it's really took off in the latter sort of decade, and that's rabbit viral hemorrhagic disease. Now, unlike myxomatosis, that you can see the poor rabbits are suffering and they die gradually, it's a horrible way to go. Rabbit viral hemorrhagic disease actually kills a rabbit stone dead, usually in 24 hours, often underground. No one knows where they've gone. The rabbits just disappear. And it's been the course of that action in Northamptonshire, and most, not all, but most of the UK, that the rabbit population has pretty much vanished. 5 years ago it took hold around here and the rabbit population went down to the odd rabbit, like they're an endangered species. Instead of lots of rabbits and crop damage, the odd rabbit you might be lucky to see one. It's great in the back of the Fulkery Centre to see today we've got old rabbit warrens that have long since become extinct because of viral hemorrhagic disease being opened back up. We've got fresh droppings, and it's nice to see a little bit of rabbit activity. And for sure, I know from talking to friends, Northamptonshire on the whole, the rabbit population this year, 2020, 2021, is really having a great resurgence. And it just shows how a species like a rabbit, a rat, a human can outbreed a virus anyway. And it shows that, in a way, a virus isn't there to wipe out a species because it'd have no host. But a disease which is viral-led for rabbits, that if we had it would make this disease we've got now, COVID, look absolutely fine. Because can you imagine, it runs through a population, most of them die in 24 hours, no one even knows where they've gone because a rabbit has died underground. So it's nice to see. It's took them a good few years now. I think the rabbits are outbreeding their virus, and the virus is sort of more living in a symbiotic relationship maybe. But there's definitely signs that the rabbits around here, the population is coming back. Most non-country folk haven't noticed they've disappeared until you say, when was the last time you saw a rabbit on a roundabout in an industrial estate or on a country verge on a summer's evening? And I think, oh yeah, do you know what? I haven't seen any. Obviously, being country people, we feed our birds on rabbits. Some of them, we've really noticed them vanish. So, great to see some fresh droppings, and great to talk to other people in Northamptonshire and around the country that 2020, 2021, that season has seen a resurgence in our rabbits. Because although the farmer doesn't want thousands of rabbits around, most people enjoy seeing some rabbits for sure. So let's hope they make a bit of a comeback, and it looks like they're going to. So it's really nice. Now, we've come to quite a sad low in this week's vlog for sure. Those of you that watched one of our recent videos about wingtip edema in birds of prey and the causes and the problems it causes on the birds, if you should be unfortunate enough and lucky enough or stupid enough to allow your bird to get that condition, you'll know that one of our own Harrisawks, Jeremy, was actually undergoing treatment for a case of wingtip edema, and we talked about how it happened and why it shouldn't have happened and such like. And as always on these vlogs,
They're completely honest, and we don't want to just sensationalise all the great fun we have working with our birds and animals. We want to take you on our journey of ups and downs, and hopefully other people will learn, other animal keepers and other falconers will learn things from our mistakes, and I think that's a good thing to sort of put out there. Sadly, Jeremy was looking like he was doing really well and making reasonably good recovery through the veterinary treatment, and actually in that video we took a closer look at the damaged area on his wing, and it looked, we didn't want to be 100%, but it looked pretty promising that he was going to heal that area up. Sadly, over a 24-hour to 48-hour period, it proved that that area was permanently damaged. It's akin to frostbite in humans, and obviously once the flesh is killed off by frostbite, it's dry gangrene, it's dead, it's no good at all, it dies away. And unfortunately we've had to euthanise Jeremy, because a bird that we've trained, that I've actually personally trained from 16 weeks old, that was bred at the centre and has flown pretty much every day for 7 years without guests, a bird that then is going to lead a life of not being able to fly and would have to crawl around in an aviary, crawling up a branch to get to another branch, that's not really the life we want for that guy. Not for a bird that's flown wild and free for 7 years. So sadly he is buried here, and sadly, you know, it's pretty devastating news. But it is part of animal keeping. Unfortunately, it doesn't always go right, and occasionally bad things happen. So these faux gravestones were actually placed here so we can take photographic images of our barn owls in a kind of a naturalistic graveyard setting. So we thought really fitting, he's in the nature garden and Jeremy's buried here, and how lovely, we've got snowdrops all coming up in another couple of weeks, it's going to be flowering, and at least when myself and our colleagues fly our birds and owls in this lovely woodland area in our nature garden, at least that way, you know, we can remember Jeremy. And our in-house mega artist Emily, she's already produced a fantastic piece of art to sort of commemorate him, and I'll see if she'll let us attach that into this vlog, because it's absolutely spectacular work and a nice memory to put in our lodge to remember him by. But for sure, really sad news, absolutely gutted. You know, a farmer gets attached to his animals even though they're going off to slaughter one day, but of course when you're working with them as individuals, flying them and working with them on a daily basis, they're not just another Harris hawk or another bird or another owl, they're actually individual sort of entities, and I wouldn't say humans, but that's really the wrong thing to say, but certainly individual personalities, that's the word I'm looking for. So sad news. We're not gonna make this the end of the vlog, because I don't want to go out, you know, distraught and sad and you guys feel sad, so we're going to find some other fun things to talk about, and obviously you get the lows, but mostly it's the highs. So sad news to let you guys know. So Zeus has just done his 5th lure run now. We're doing 150 to 200 yards. It's not excessively very far for Golden Eagle, but Georgia is finding it excessive because she's running with the lure, and he's still got wet wingtips from the grass now. Really pleased with how he's coming along. He's just like I say all the time, going to the gym, you just don't seem to get anywhere, and all of a sudden that fitness builds from nowhere. You can see he's laying down. Now, he's not laying down to sort of mantle it. When birds of prey ratchet up their tendons in their toes to lock onto their prey, they have to bend their legs at what we'd think of as sort of the knee joint, and then they have to straighten their legs to release the grip. So he's laying down because his legs are bent right underneath him as he's digging those talons in areas. Standing up now. And as he straightens his legs, that releases the locking mechanism in their talons. So he's calling for me to come and give him assistance. And we're gonna, obviously it's not a real prey, it's a lure. He knows it's a lure, he knows his reward for catching a lure. So I'm gonna let Georgia hold the phone and we'll just show you how we trade him off the lure really quick and easy. So, stay on kick, pick up piece, reward. So we're holding the lure down with my knee so he can't drag it. We're throwing a reward just out of range. He's got to let go of the lure. Remember, he knows it's not a real animal. He knows this is a toy and it's a game to him, and it's our way of getting him fit. And then of course we let him eat that bit of reward, and I want him back on my glove now. Ready for the next fit. Lovely manners. It's what I've worked with for 7 years, is to get a golden eagle that's got the most loveliest manners and a great guy to be around and work with. His wings are wetter. He's tired now after 5 runs. but we're going to work him into the ground, so to speak, work him to exhaustion, and that way a well-fed eagle and a tired eagle always seems to be a really chilled out and happy eagle. So a couple more lure-ins for him, and then we've got to get on and clean out a lot of aviaries today. So that's it. He's done 7 runs now on the lure. Really proud of him. Really amazing how even a big bird like this can build fitness if you put in the time in. Looking great. George is having a breather. He finds running with a scarf on is quite interesting. And he's certainly earned the last of his lunch. Well, we crack on. Good boy, Zeus. So Shy here, she spends her day up at the Falconry Centre, and in the winter months when it's just too cold to go outside, she's got a large indoor run, but it's in a cold outbuilding, if you like, and it's fully heated and it's fully lighted, which is fine. But I've had a few paranoias lately, you know, when you can't sleep at night, and we haven't got a generator there because nothing else needs backup electric. Because if the freezers go out in the winter, for instance, they're all right for sort of 12 hours until we get things sorted. And I've been having a bit of a paranoid moment. I thought, these -2, -3 nights, knowing my luck, we'd have a power failure and Shy would be frozen solid in the morning. Anyway, I thought, you know what? Keep getting this premonition. I'm going to bring her and just leave her roaming around the reptile room because it's sort of an ambient temperature in here anyway, nice and warm, tropical. And just to be on the safe side, do you know what? We've had so much rain in the last few days. Over the last 3 days, we've had 2 power cuts where water is ingressed into electrical equipment. So how weird is that? Thank goodness for that. So she's here for now, roaming around the reptile room, living the life of Riley. It's not really like living on lovely fresh grass, and she can't do that really now until the spring. But yeah, strange how things go, isn't it? Let's just show you one more of our animals. Something that's so common, we don't very rarely show you it, but an underrated species. Hold on, let me just pop her down. So I often overlook these animals in our vlogs. These are some of our bearded dragon lizards, and these are superstars for school educational visits when you're talking about reptiles. And the reason being, not that they're the most beautiful and interesting looking lizard. Bearded dragons, they are, well, I do love a blue-tongued skink mind, but they are right up there with the most petable, sort of almost domesticated lizard. They're such chilled out creatures. They're very much petable. They have no problem at all coming out. They'll run up your arm to come out. They like to come out and do stuff. As long as you've got the right equipment and the knowledge and you've done the research, they're also an incredibly easy to care for species of reptile. So everyone's sort of got them. They're the go-to default setting for my first lizard for sure. And we often don't feature them, and it's a shame, isn't it? Because sometimes you do overlook the common stuff. These girls here are all absolutely brilliant. They've all got their own individual personalities. They certainly don't have striking patterns. They certainly don't have striking colours like many reptiles. But for pure character, petability, and easy to keep if you know what you're doing and you've got the right equipment, bearded dragons are absolute superstars. Do remember, they live between 10 and 15 years. Don't be buying yourself or your children a pet lizard or a pet of any kind unless you're committed to keeping it for the rest of its life where possible, for sure. Enjoy the rest of the vlog. Well, it's Sunday. The vlog's about to go live and the vlog isn't finished yet. We've been flat out today, exercising zoos. We've been cleaning out all the Icarus sort of aviaries, or plenty of them. And it's been a lovely day. We've had so much wet, grey, horrible weather. It's actually been really sunny today, quite mild. A real pleasurable day to be outside, and it lifts your spirits no end for sure. We always like to plug people that are sort of doing great stuff, and I always like to recommend people and tradesmen, whoever, people that are doing good things or help us out or do a good job and are reliable. You know, we like to complain, don't we, people? So it's always nice to plug people. And first, can you check out the links below? Savoury Chaffins, that's our Emily, and that's her page for her artwork. Just take a look at some of her stunning art. And our website, reptilesforsale.co.uk, was built by a guy called Christian Parker, and he's not only a real whiz kid on that kind of thing, all things websitey. I don't know the term, I'm no good at these things, am I? He's really good. He's got his own business
and you know he does it for himself, so he really takes pride. He's not a big corporate company. He's really good, top of his game. And do you know what the best thing is? He's such a nice guy, and any problems, his customer service is second to none, and that's something that's sadly lacking nowadays. So check out the link for Christian Parker and sort of take a look at what he can do. He might be able to help your business. Running businesses, you're constantly bombarded with junk email of people that can tell you how much better they're going to make your website and all this and that, and you know, I don't think they realise that I get 10 of those a day. But you know, this guy really recommended, really good at his job, so definitely check out those 2 links below and see what other people are doing, and they're doing great things. So see you in the next vlog or in the next video. Take care for now, and don't forget, like and subscribe.